my friends, my name is Simon Miller and welcome to the show. And that's right, today we are going to review a game that everybody is going crazy about, AEW Fight Forever. And I would not go on Twitter and start a conversation about it. People are all over the place. It is a big deal though, because much like sports entertainment itself, this is bringing competition to the digital space. Which makes me sound like some kind of annoying marketing executive, but as every single person on the planet will tell you, competition is good because it brings out the best in all of us. It also means the wrestling world is booming right now and there are so many different promotions offering you a little bit something different, and that is good, my friends. It also ties into what we're going to talk about today. Because the best thing I can say about Fight Forever, in case you do need to run off into the ether, is that in 2023, it feels like its own experience. Like it's super duper fun, it's super arcadey. Some of the things you can do are so over the top, you will laugh out loud. And some of the little touches that are in there, like throwing a wrestler into thumbtacks and seeing them writhe around in pain, like I get me saying that, makes me sound like some kind of a beast, but you can just see the TLC that's put into it when that kind of emotion comes out of the screen. Hits you right in the tum-tum. I mean, you can just see that they put the thoughts in, and yes, if you are of a certain age, you'll be walking around going, no mercy, no mercy, or WCW versus NWO Revenge, if you want to be that guy. And of course it's an homage to those things, but that is no bad thing at all. Those games all rocked. Why wouldn't you try and replicate it in the modern day? And look, I just want to get it out there that I am a massive fan of the WWE 2K series. And ever since they came back a couple of years ago, I think they've been smashing it. But that actually makes what we have now even better still. Because if you want a little bit of pie A, you can do. But if you want a pie B, well, a great one just came out the oven. Now, I don't want the same thing twice, much as I don't want AEW and WWE to be the same. And I think that is the big headline with this. That's why I'm so damn excited. It's such a smart decision too, because like I say, it is so entertaining to play. And like those N64 classics, you can just pick up a pad and within about 5 minutes you will have got it. And even if you want to smash the thing, I mean, I didn't do this, so I can't say for sure, but I bet some cool things would happen on screen. And people have been doing that in Street Fighter for years. There's also a certain impact to moves that makes you go, oh yes, I loved it, and all the damn things that you can interact with. I mean, you want to climb a ladder and throw somebody into a table? Go nuts. I mean, you want to assault Barry Barricade and throw someone into him? Do it. Do you want a sequence of move, move, move? Oh wait, here's another guy and he's interrupted my move and now he's got move, 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 2023 wrestling? Well, yes please. It also ties into who you choose to wrestle as, because look at somebody like MJF. Now maybe there are other characters that have this, but he has the option to beg off at one point before he goes ha ha and he gives somebody a smack, and that ties into the asshole he is in real life. Don't even get me started on Orange Cassidy. While he does have his hands in the pocket thing as a taunt, that word is not correct at all. You can wrestle a whole match this way, and some of the innovations that Ukes have come up with, well, it's damn impressive. I mean, it's deliberately been left open so you can be as creative as you want to be, and the reversals and counters are so simple to do, which works for an old guy like me, because I don't have cat-like reflexes anymore. I'll let you in on a secret I never did. I've been playing it for about a week now, but I tell you, there'll be a bunch of Easter eggs and secrets I haven't even seen yet, because you can just tell that they're in there and that it has a surprising amount of depth. You also get a decent roster, which is pivotal to wrestling games these days, and yes, the likes of CM Punk and Cody Rhodes are in there, and you get your big hitters like Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks, Hangman Adam Page, and Jon Moxley. THQ Nordic has also made it very clear that this will be supported by DLC for a while, so if you do get all sad panda when you're looking for your favourite wrestler, yes, they're likely going to turn up soon. Now, I don't really understand, or know I should say, what the plan for this is, but as long as it's fair, I think it will work fine. I certainly didn't feel shortchanged though, especially when it came to the match types. And in Simon Miller's world, which is a horrible place to be, there were some that I don't think I've ever seen in a game before, such as the barbed wire exploding deathmatch. And that is laugh out loud madness, especially because you can kind of choose the type of explosion you do have, and yes, one of them is like a sparkler, which ties into the now infamous match between Kenny Omega and Jon Moxley. And this is what you should do when you do make a little bit of a faux pas, own your mistakes, just say ha ha funny funny. There's also a Stadium Stampede Battle Royal mode, which I haven't been able to play yet, but it sounds like it's Fortnite interspersed with pro wrestling and it's online. So if this does go the way that it could do, it may be an absolutely wonderful shock. You also get a ton of weapons, including Darby Allin's skateboard, and going back to Orange Cassidy's pockets, again, it's not just a whack whack thing, you can even skate on it, and often Eddie Kingston is walking around with a propane tank. So that's gasoline and also a crime. I will bring up the point now that also, yes, you can put thumbtacks in the game, and the reason I do want to mention that is because of the blood. Now, you can turn it off. We have to throw it out there. But if you do like the red stuff and you would like to see an entire mat covered in it, do I have the game for you? The thing is, though, the developers have really thought about this because it's not gratuitous. And instead, they've gone so over the top with it, at the risk of sounding like a horrible person, it's kind of funny. I mean, what a match I did between Chris Jericho and Moxley ended with so much of this color around the place, you would have thought you were watching a slasher movie. Now, look, if you are a young pup, you should go to the options menu and turn it off. Especially because if your mum and dad sees it, they're probably going to take it away. I do kind of feel that ties into what we've been trying to achieve at the core here, because wrestling is pretty silly, right? We love it and it makes us happy, but it is a silly experience. That's kind of what we try to summarize in here too. That's also why it makes it so fun. It doesn't take itself so seriously, and nobody ever should. I mean, you also throw realism out the window, and this idea that gravity is a real thing that keeps you on Earth. Screw that. The Lucha Brothers are in this thing, and we're gonna muck around with it. It's also why some of the double team maneuvers are absolutely hilarious, especially if you do something with Penta and Phoenix. And honestly, the first thing you should do is be the Young Bucks and get your super kick ready. Not only does it make the best noise ever, but the impact of it just makes you go, yeah, boy howdy do I like a kick that's super. So as far as I'm concerned, there is going to be no better way to experience this game than sitting on the same sofa and playing it with a friend. But just in case you are a loner like I am, you do have a single player mode too. It is called Road to Elite, and hands up, I didn't get into it as much as I wanted to, just because, time will always kick your ass. But from what I did see, I actually think it feels like a nice little extra. Because as per usual, you get to embark on your journey through AEW. You start at the bottom and you fight a bunch of pay-per-views, and you try to become the champion. But it's not just you go match. Not only do you have story progression with different arcs so you can replay it, but on your downtime, you can choose what to eat, and you can even go sightseeing. And this will obviously tie into whether you make a good decision or a bad decision, and whether you have a good match or a bad match. I also kind of got the feeling this is intentionally being made short so it does have a bunch of replayability. But once again, it just feels like so much damn thought has been put into this, and that they just want fun and creativeness to be at the forefront of the experience. I mean, like I say, I didn't play it for as much as I wanted to, but do I want to get into it more? Yes, I do. That's why I'm wiggling around like an idiot. This is also like the best time to talk about the Creator Suite 2 and answer the big question, but does it have everything I want in there? And if we are going like for like, which I never think is a fair thing to do anyway, no, it's probably not comparable, but that's because Fight Forever is game number 1, and over on the WWE 2K side, it's been going for decades. I mean, if you're pretty good at using these tools, you'll still be able to come up with something, because you have a bunch of hairstyles and a bunch of body types. You could be fat and you could be muscly and you can muck around with somebody's face. And it's not like the developers don't know what they're doing. There are some taunts or movements in there that look very much like AJ Styles, very much look like Shinsuke Nakamura, very much look like Rey Mysterio. I mean, that alone should be enough to give you some confidence. This wasn't thrown together at the last minute. All your favourite moves are in there as well to give to your character, including the F5 being called diverticulitis, however you pronounce the thing that Brock Lesnar had. I mean, it's certainly a choice. I certainly felt like there was a lot to get into here though, but I already know how the internet works, and somebody will go, well, I wasn't able to do this and I wasn't able to do that. But you can still create arenas, and like I say, just put your personality onto these avatars. And I think, again, because it's the first one we've ever got, perfectly more than fine. Which of course brings us to the flip side of the conversation, which we do have to discuss just because everybody else is the visual side of things. I don't know why everybody is getting their knickers in a twist. Because while this is going to piss a lot of people off, I don't care. I still play No Mercy in 2023, and that is the blockiest thing you've ever seen in your life. So even though Fight Forever does have somewhat of a more cartoony style, well, I personally quite like it. I think the animations especially are very good, and it also just means that all the focus has gone on the gameplay, and that's what I want for what is essentially a fighting game. I don't care what the visual style is. Push that to one side, make it fun. Okay, if you really want to get into it, it could look better on the Xbox Series X, but at not one point was I offended by what I was seeing on the screen. It just doesn't matter to me, and maybe that makes me part of the problem. I do understand as well, if graphics are important to you, maybe you will be disappointed, but I implore you to still give it a chance. Because if you're just looking for an entertaining wrestling game, well, this is a fantastic option. And I admit it too, sometimes the collision detection, is a little bit off. I mean, I threw somebody through a table at one point, and everything came together like it was some kind of alien love triangle. But it took me all of 1.2 seconds to get over this, because I took the same person and I absolutely wrecked them with a package power driver. And when I did it, I actually went, because I have problems. I also want to make sure that I do get it out there that yes, because it is the first one in a series, keep saying the same thing, there are some growing pains there, but everybody involved has promised to support this, so it may just keep getting better and better and better. I mean, there's just been so much put into the damn thing. While I don't want to single anybody out, I think having Kenny Omega on board has been an absolute win, because he's a gamer that loves games and understands what wrestling gamers want from a wrestling game, so he's ensured that it's all here. Because again, I promise you, the more you play, the more you gotta see it. I mean, even the way that certain moves hit has to be an Omega decision. Just makes you go yes. So as you can tell, I'm a huge fan of this, even though there are a few foibles along the way, and I wasn't hesitate to recommend it at all, even if you do like the WWE games. It just means one day you wake up on a Monday and you want to play that, on a Tuesday you play Fight Forever, and Wednesday WWE, Thursday AEW. I mean, it's a very different version of that Craig David song, but you're still probably gonna be having a good time, although he was having sex. But if you do want a wild, action-heavy wrestling game that goes at a frantic pace, bingo, it's right here. I'm also very excited to see how it does evolve over the weeks and months, and I'm just so glad I do get to say these words. And do you know what I'm doing when I finish this video? I'm going to play Fight Forever. After a sandwich, I'm quite hungry. Now, I know people love scores, but I do think they're a little bit redundant, but I suppose if I were going to give one, it would be 4 out of 5 stars. What does that even mean? What I'm telling you is if you can afford it and you want a wrestling game, this one will tick your box. Now, of course, if you haven't already played Fight Forever, make sure you let me know in the comments below, and also be sure to understand I haven't even touched half of what's here, because I think that's more important than you experience that for the first time. You don't need a bald guy telling you everything. You can also click the bell ding ding to be made aware of other videos that I do, Notification Squad, and there's a video on the screen that you can click as well. It will be about wrestling, so understand how the audience works. And if randomly you are into fitness, GorillaMind.com/Simon, Simon get 10% off. Patreon.com/Simon316 to support me that way. Simon316 on Instagram and Twitter. I've got merchandise, I'm on Cameo, there are links in the description below. Thank you very much for watching me as always. I'm intrigued to get your thoughts. As far as I'm concerned, wrestling overall right now is kicking ass, and I love it.